Welcome back, Jesters, to another Skyrim book edition. We're going to be reading the volumes of the Song of Pelnial. This is Volume 1, On His Name. Editor's note, Volumes 1 through 6 are taken from the so-called Remen manuscript located in the Imperial Library. It is a transcription of older fragments collected by an unknown scholar of the early Second Era. Beyond this, little is known of the original sources of these fragments, some of which appear to be from the same period, perhaps even from the same manuscript. But as no scholarly consensus yet exists on dating these 6 fragments, no opinions will be offered here. Now, the volumes go to 8, so we will see what happens in 7 and 8 later on. This will be Volume 1, On His Name. What he took the name Pelnial was passing strange. No matter his later Separquits, which were many, that was an elvish name, and Pelnial was a scourge on that race, and not much given to irony. Pelnial was much too grim for that. Even in youth he wore white hair, and trouble followed him. Perhaps his enemies named Pelnial of their own in their tongue, but that is doubtful, for it means glorious night, and he was neither to them. Certainly many others added to that name during his days in Tamriel. He was Pelnial the White Strake, because of his left hand made of a killing light. He was Pelnial the Bloody, for he drank it in victory. He was Pelnial Insurgent, because he gave crusades a face. He was Pelnial in Triumph, as the words eventually became synonymous, and men-at-arms have thanks to the Eight when they saw his banner coming through war. He was Pelnial the Blamer, for he was quick to admonish those allies of his that favored tactics that ran counter to his, that is, sword theory. And he was Pelnial III, though whether this was because some said he was a god geyser who had incarnated twice before already, or the simpler, he was the third vision given to Perif, Anon Alessia, in her prayers of liberation, for he walked among the quarters of rebellion, is unknown. Alright, this is book 1. I'm going to do book 2 in here as well, because book 1 was pretty short. So, and book 2. On His Coming. Alright, this is the same editor's note, okay? And then Paris spoke to the handmaiden again, eyes to the heavens which had not known kindness since the beginning of elven rule. And she spoke as a mortal, whose kindle is beloved by the gods for its strength and weakness, a humility that can burn with a metaphor and yet break easily and always doomed to end in death. And this is why those who let their souls burn anyway are beloved of the dragon and his kin. And she said, and this thing I have thought of, I have named it, and I call it freedom, which I think is just another word for Shizar, who goes missing. You made the first rain at his thundering, and that is what I ask now for our alien masters, that we might sunder them fully and repay their cruelty by dispersing them to drown in the Topol. Merahas, your son, mighty and snorting, Gorehorn, winged, and next he flies down, let him bring us Inger. And then Kinna granted Perif another symbol, a diamond soaked red with blood of elves, whose facets unsector and form into a man whose every angle could cut her jailers in the name. Pelnial, which is the star-made knight, and he was arrived in armor from the future time, and he walked into the jungles of Sirad, already killing, Morhas stamping it aside, frost-bloody, and bellowing from excitement because the Pelnial was come. And Pelnial came to Perif's camp of rebels, holding a sword and mace, both encrusted with the smashed viscera of elven faces, feathers, and magic beads, which were the markings of the Eladun. Stuck to the redness that hung from his weapons, and he lifted them, saying, these were their eastern chieftains, no longer full of their talking. Alright, that is book 1 and book 2. Stay tuned next time for book 3 and potentially book 4, considering how short these are. Thank you all for watching, Jesters. Hope you all have a good day.